It's a giant vagina.
You're a giant vagina. Anyway.
Hey, did you ever see that movie? Did you ever see that movie? Did you ever see that movie?
Showtime. Okay. Welcome to Hey, did you ever see that movie? I'm your host, Des, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Lynn.
They're here.
How original. And joining us again, the podcaster with 1,000 potions, Mikki.
Now, reach back into our past when you used to have an open mind, okay?
And last but not least, the podcaster packing heat, Tony 2.0.
You moved the headstones, but not the bodies? Oh my God.
Okay, so welcome to the first installment of Dysfunctional Date Night, where two dysfunctional couples get together and watch the same movie and then fight about it. Okay. This week, we will be discussing the paranormal thriller Poltergeist, written by Steven Spielberg, directed by Tobe Hooper, starring JoBeth Williams, Heather O'Rourke, Craig T. Nelson, the coach, and Zelda Rubinstein. As always, this podcast will contain spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie, go watch it, then come back and listen to the podcast. And now, it's time for another installment of Disaster Piece Theater. So sit back and enjoy the show. Welcome to Disaster Piece Theater, where me and my two co-hosts will act out one scene from the movie that we are reviewing for you this evening. So please, sit back, grab some popcorn, and enjoy the show.
Quiet on the set.
Camera speed.
Sound production, take one.
This house is clean.
Cut! Cut! Cut!
Okay. That's it. Shit. Go into the light. Don't go into the light. Do go into the light. Don't go into the light.
That was my entire childhood. Are you kidding me? Mixed messages, confusion.
Oh, dude, we're gonna get into it all.
I'm right with Carol Ann, baby.
Me too. I would have been like to the beast, like, please don't send me back. Please don't send me back to those monsters. Okay. Now it is time for Dez's 4 and 1 fun fake fact, where it will be up to my 3 co-hosts to decide which fact is total bullshit. Fact number 1. They used real skeletons in the pool scene because it was cheaper than using fake ones. Number 2. The dog in Poltergeist is the same dog they used in E.T. Number 3. Drew Barrymore was passed over for the part of Carol Ann because they wanted someone that looked, quote, more angelic. Number 4. Tobe Hooper also directed The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And number 5. Stephen King was originally asked to write the script for Poltergeist. Tony, which fact do you think is total bullshit?
That's an excellent question. I am going to throw off. I know that Tobe Hooper did the Chainsaw Massacre, so I'm going to go with the skeletons. Number 1 being cheaper.
Okay.
I don't think Spielberg bought that crap. Come on.
Okay. And Mikki, what do you think?
I say number 5, Stephen King.
Okay. And Delynn, you cheater who probably is looking this up on Google now. What do you think?
I'm not looking up anything. I'm going to say it's the dogs. Not the same dog.
Okay, you are correct. It was not the same dog used, but they did look very similar.
Both golden retrievers, but not the same dog.
Both golden retrievers, but not the same dog. Okay, and with a budget of $10.7 million and a box office gross of $121.7 million, this movie was considered a smash success.
I also want to say about the skeletons.
Yes.
It's never been proven whether he actually used real skeletons or if they were fake skeletons. JoBeth Williams said it in an interview, and nobody could backtrack to find if that was actually true or not. But it's become part of like the lore of the movie.
But we did find out that they did that in Creepshow, so I find it very plausible.
I was going to say, I remember hearing about that in another movie that we did, and I couldn't remember what movie it was.
So it's starting to feel like that was like a go-to move in the 80s to for budget constrictions, possibly. Let's do some opening thoughts on this one. I'll get us started. So I've seen this movie a million times. I think we all have as kids, of the 80s. Um, and what's weird is this is like a comfort movie for me, which is weird because I fucking hate horror movies. So, but
Don't you love
this
that we're doing a month of horror movies and he hates
I
them?
hate them. But this feels like E.T. mixed with Ghostbusters, right? And I
Oh,
find
you
the
stole that
neighborhood.
from me, you motherfucker. You motherfucker. He stole that.
That's not
I
true.
said that.
That's not true.
You do that. You are a plagiarist, motherfucker.
That's not true. Um, so I find the neighborhood in this movie to be very comforting. I find the family to be very comforting, probably because it's the kind of neighborhood and family I dreamed of having growing up. But unfortunately, I was raised by wild wolves on the streets of heartbreak and broken dreams.
Oh my
Thanks.
god.
Wow, the drama. The drama.
Wow.
The drama.
Wow.
Dum, dum, dum. It's
This
true.
is the guy who's like cuddled up at night with his Batman fucking comforter.
Mickey, oh no, I didn't have the Batman comforter when you
No,
stayed here.
you did not leave the Batman
Okay,
comforter for Mickey to
okay.
use.
I was wondering if she was if she used the Batman comforter, but no. We broke out the adult comforter for her.
Oh, why?
Mickey. Oh god. Okay. Tony, have you ever seen Poltergeist before preparing for this podcast?
I have numerous times, and yeah, it's one of those movies. I'm not a fan of horror. Ask my wife; she'll tell you I'm the biggest spoil sport in the round when it comes to that because she's a true fan of horror movies.
Me too.
I love Poltergeist. Number one, I think it's one of the archetypal Spielberg's kind of works. He loves to set the stage. He loves music. He loves to build to a crescendo. I mean, it's masterwork. I think, unfortunately, the scariest thing about the movie is the neighborhood because suburban hell is the definition of Cuesta Verde and
Looks like
the
Whoville.
rest of it. Right, yeah, and the worst part is that you got Coach there going, yeah, we were the first people to move in, and this is great, and hey, come on down, and it's like,
Oh.
no, please don't ever live there, forget that.
Oh, I
But
loved it.
for what it is in '80s California, it is what it is, and then I love the fact that his boss is the same character in Jaws when Roy Schneider says we have to close the beach, and he goes, "Fuck that! It's July 4th. You understand? This is our life. This is what keeps this town open." That guy and the guy that plays the mayor in Jaws, they're the exact same character. They're two different guys, but they're there to get a job done and get paid, and they could give fuck all about anybody else. So it's
Oh.
kind of neat, and I love the film, and it was an awesome success because had great characters and built great story. And I wouldn't even say Ghostbusters. I would give it the idea that even though the effects are wicked dated, they are still impressive from till today. And that was what 2 years ago. So I think it's still pretty impressive considering.
Yeah,
40
Tony.
years ago.
Yeah, right. Let's not go back there.
Tony, that's a great observation with his boss and the character he played in Jaws, because I was trying to figure out where I had seen him before.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, he's playing the same character.
Right.
Really
But
great.
help me though. I don't think it's the same guy.
I don't think it is either.
I thought it was at first too.
No,
but
it's not. It's
Oh,
not.
yeah.
But
it's
same
essentially
character.
yeah. It's the exact same personality. It's just a different actor,
Yes.
and they're both excellent. They
Yeah.
actually do
Interesting side note
physically look
about him.
alike.
Yeah, interesting side note about him, the guy that plays the boss in this movie, he also did like kind of like a spokesman thing for a supermarket out that way.
Mhm.
And the supermarket started getting letters complaining about him and how he treated the freelings after the movie.
Oh shit.
Nice.
That's
Yeah,
so funny.
That's the mark of a great film when people can't determine what is the movie and what is reality. That's
Yeah.
when you know you've struck a chord there. You're good.
Really good.
So, yeah.
Mickey, have you ever seen Poltergeist before preparing for this podcast? I'm
Oh
guessing
my
the
God,
answer
yeah.
will be
So I
yes.
actually saw this in the theater with a girlfriend of mine. And I remember because my parents never took me to the movies, excuse me, but they did because they went to see like Wrath of Khan or something, and we went into Poltergeist. And I was telling Tony this last night. Like when I was growing up, I agree with you, Des. I wanted that like cookie cutter neighborhood,
Wicked bad.
you know, with the kids playing with the little remote control, excuse me, cars and stuff. And I loved the house. And I just thought it was the epitome of like perfect when you're growing up, when you don't have that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Excuse me. And I was telling Tony, and we'll get to it. I know we'll get to it later, but there, you know, there's the scene with the guy at the sink. And I just remember, like, out of everything in that movie, that freaked me out the most.
That was the one scene that I thought was kind of a shink in the armor as far as the practical effects go. It was the one time I went, oh.
Well, and it grossed me out. I just remember being so grossed out. And what was I, 12 or 13? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
But I was also telling Tony last night, like, not that I would ever want them to ever remake this movie, but can you imagine what they could do today with the effects they have today?
Yeah.
Like,
I thought they did.
I think they did too, but I don't think it made any waves because I don't think anyone was interested.
Yeah, I think it was called Poltergeist 2015.
Oh, God.
Oh, I don't
Oh
know.
gosh, I didn't know that.
I missed it.
Okay.
I mean, this is one of my facts. It could be absolute bullshit.
No, you're right. It came out in 2015. It was an hour and 33 minutes. Sam Rockwell.
Sam Rockwell,
who I love.
Kyle Catlett, Jared Harris. There's really no one of any repute.
I have to watch it just because I'm curious.
It got a whopping 2.8 out of 5 and 150 ratings.
God.
So maybe you should, maybe you should just not watch it. But
maybe I'll watch the trailer.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, wow. It looks like it on the cover. The cover art I'm gonna look at right now. They tore it up. They tore it up bad. So.
Well, okay, but you know, I'm thinking. I just think about like what they can do with the effects, and I love the practical effects in this. Yeah, some of the effects like were a little like with the record spinning around. You know, some of the stuff in the room when it's spinning around. But honestly, the movie was so much fun. Like how do you even care? You know what I mean?
I don't.
You don't.
Mm-hmm.
You don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Even with the old school where they turn the room to give the effect of like weightlessness, and it's a cheap trick, but it's so Spielberg awesome. You don't even care. You know what I mean?
It's totally effective.
And an awesome band. Oh man, Cheap Trick, let's go.
It's the magic of Robin Zander.
Fuck yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah, I cried when Bunny Carlos died. He was my favorite drummer of the 80s. So yeah, absolutely.
Really good. Really good. All right. Delynn, have you ever seen Poltergeist before preparing for this podcast?
I have seen this movie many times. To piggyback off of what Mikki was saying about the guy and the skin tearing, I actually was very grateful that it was not overly realistic and it was kind of obviously fake. Because to me, this movie's not really scary. It's a scary movie, but it's not really scary. Like I don't spend it watching it going like waiting for something to happen and getting that thing that I get from modern day scary movies. It's very much an ET version of a scary movie, but I really enjoy it regardless. That being said, also that scene with the skin ripping, that is Steven Spielberg's hands doing it.
Because they only had the one mold and they were afraid the actor would ruin it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And also Spielberg got into the water with Jo Beth Williams for the scene in the pool because she was afraid she was going to get electrocuted.
Yeah.
And all those electric lights over them trying to light the scene. She was scared. So he was like, well, I'm going to get in with you. And if you die, I die. And she was like, okay.
That would not be a consolation. I would be like, that's not good enough.
I mean, I think it's an OSHA violation, but you know.
Yeah. Okay.
But yes, I have seen this many times.
Also, like when I was watching it last night, I remember seeing this movie and wanting them for parents. Like I wanted them.
Yeah.
And I also,
that's what
to
I'm
be
saying.
fair, I had a little girl crush on Jo Beth Williams when I was younger.
She was gorgeous. We were talking about that today.
We were talking about that today.
Gorgeous.
The outfits, the football shirt she's wearing, the short shorts, the sneakers, the tan. Oh man, she was great. Mikki, I'm with you. I wish these were my parents. I wish I had that brother and sister. I wish that was my house. I wish someone was making me breakfast in the morning. It was great. The dog, everything. All of it. Yes, please. And give us a synopsis and then bring us into this spook fast.
All right. Let's see here.
Hey, Tony, do you like that? Your new handle, the podcaster packing heat?
I can dig it. I'm good. I
Okay.
like it.
All right. A young family are visited by ghosts in their home. At first, the ghosts appear friendly, moving objects around the house to the amusement of everyone. But then they turn nasty and start to terrorize the family before kidnapping their youngest daughter, Carol Ann. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
Hold on.
So-
Before we start, I think I have to tell my ghost story. So I work in a old cotton mill called Slattersville Mills, and I'm an apartment painter there, so I paint apartments there. They converted this cotton mill into apartments, and they used to have tours of it and stuff. And before they turned it into apartments, the History Channel actually did a special on it because it's
like
haunted.
America's Most Haunted.
Yeah, like America's Most Haunted, and they had
Wow.
ghost people go and shit. And it was funny because the guy that was the curator there was talking about how, he'd hear women like going shh, and there'd be people throwing stuff at people, and they'd see ghostly figures and children because tons of children died there or were injured there because they would send them into the machines when they would get jammed and they would lose limbs, and like it was pretty gnarly. So before Dylan and I had ever seen that, I had witnessed a few things. Speaking in a hallway with a maintenance guy, as we're talking, it's like 9 a.m. There's no one around. We hear a female go, shh, right between us. And we just stopped talking and looked at each other like, oh. Another old guy had asked me in the elevator, he was about 70. He goes, do you ever see anything here? I go, like what? He goes, like ghosts. So the cleaner was found dead, bludgeoned and bloody in the corner of the apartment. This is like a year and a half ago. Nobody knows what happened to him. They found him in a pool of blood with a compound fracture on his left arm, compound fracture on his right leg, his head bashed in a puddle of blood. Died on the way to the hospital in the ambulance. Nobody knows what happened. He worked there for about 7 years with me. Yeah, it was really crazy. I painted the apartment the day before this happened. He cleaned it the day after. Just endless stuff like this, like endless crazy stuff. Vacant apartment. The maintenance guy went there, knocked on the door, heard a woman say, just a minute, the shower was running. He went back to the office and said, I can't get in. There's a woman showering. They said, no, the unit is vacant. We went back, unlocked the door, nobody there, vacant unit. And the final one is last year, a guy moved in. He was there for about 2 weeks. They have lofts, so you can look down from the bedroom down over a half wall into the living room. So the guy heard somebody downstairs, and this is about 2:30 in the morning. He goes over to the half wall, and he sees a guy standing in his living room staring up at him. He runs downstairs. There's nobody down there. The door is locked. He broke his lease and moved out.
That was enough for
So,
him,
yeah.
obviously.
Yes. So you can check that out on the History Channel. It's called Slattersville Mill. I work there and I see crazy shit and hear crazy shit all the time. Some units I have to keep the door open while I'm painting. Yeah. Okay. So now we can
And
get on.
hope that they keep it open too.
Yeah.
Well,
right?
that's so they can move around the place, right? They want to just leave the
Holy
door
Um,
open.
shit.
Do you
There
have
was
any
that
good
one
ghost-
time too. You were painting with Jamie, and you guys were painting in the hallway.
Yes.
And you heard,
Yes. Yes. So
and Jamie goes, "No, I'm out."
no.
And didn't he
So
leave?
I worked
He
with this
left.
I was working with this gigantic Guatemalan guy named Jamie, very tough guy. And we were working by ourselves in one of the main places, painting a wall. And I had my headphones on, and I heard like, so I pulled my headphones off. Like, can I just hear that? I turned around, and this giant Guatemalan guy is standing there, holding his paint roller, not moving. And I go, did you hear that? And he goes, this is bullshit. I'm not working here anymore. Yeah, true story. True story.
I don't think he ever went back there, did he?
If he did, it was begrudgingly just a couple of times. Yeah.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's real. It's the
creepy.
real deal.
Dylan, do you have any good ghost stories?
No, not really. He took me down to Slidersville once, and I walked around the grounds just to see if I could pick up anything, but I didn't. It was the middle of the day.
Yeah.
But it's an old mill, so there's literally like water running through one of the buildings
And giant
So,
machines
with
in the
like the
buildings.
old the wheel. So like those things are still there. So
Wow.
I'm like, well, no wonder it's
And in the hallways, they kept like a lot of the old machinery in the hallways.
Mhm.
And they have pictures of all the mill workers that used to work there, like these giant, like black and white photographs of them, and their faces are all like blurry in the pictures and weird. Dude, it's fucked.
So their faces are blurry because back then, if you moved it all, and you had to sit for like a minute for one of these
Right.
pictures. So if you moved it all, you would become blurry. So even just like moving side to side a little bit in your chair would create a blurry face. So you've got like 5 or 6 blurry faces in one of these pictures. It's creepy as hell.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right,
Okay,
into the
the
movie we
end.
go. The end. Don't go to the
Love ghost
Slidersville Mill. It's
stories.
scary.
Okay.
All right. In the suburban housing development of Cuesta Verde, California, the homes are modern and comfortable. Steve Freeling, played by the coach, Craig T. Nelson, is a successful real estate agent who works for a firm headed up by Teague, a developer. Steve lives in one of the Cuesta Verde homes with his family, his wife Diane, Jo Beth Williams, and their 3 children, teenage Dana, Dominique Dunn, and preteen youngsters Robbie, Oliver Robbins, and Carol Ann Heather O'Rourke. Strange events begin to occur when Carol Ann begins sleepwalking and carries on a seemingly one-sided conversation with the TV set that's turned on but has no signal. Soon thereafter, her pet bird dies, and the family conducts a small burial service. Later that night, Carol Ann awakens again and talks to the television, while a spectral manifestation erupts from the television screen and enters the wall, causing a violent tremor that only the Freelings feel. As the family wakes up, Carol Ann mysteriously announces, "They're here." So, Tony, I'm going to start with you. I know the 4 of us are old enough to remember when the TV channels would go off the air at 2 a.m. and play the national anthem. But I think anyone born in like maybe the past 20 years wouldn't understand that that's what that was, right?
Right, absolutely. It was funny too because I heard that and it immediately brought me back to that time when you're like, "Yep, TV's about to go off because after whatever 1 a.m. or whatever it is, there's no more programming." So yeah, absolutely. Kind of neat. Hate to date myself, but nice to see the way they did it. Plus, it was even weird too because I hadn't heard the national anthem. I'm like, wow, that's a really cool version. And I'm like, maybe I'm
Right?
getting too deep on this because I'm worried about which version of the national anthem I'm hearing. But hey, it's Spielberg. He loves to set stages, so
And did you
kinda
stand
neat.
up?
I thought about it. I was gonna put my hand over my heart and start singing, but I didn't want to go there. So,
Oh, sake.
Oh, my goodness.
well, there you go. And that all depends on what city you're from, too, because my favorite, living outside of Baltimore and going to a couple of O's games, whenever they start with the O say, can you see? It's O's. And of course, Boston, I'm sure it's a little different. Every city has like their version of it. Not only that, but because I grew up in a border town between the U.S. and Canada, I can also sing the Canadian national anthem because that's played at every hockey game before the United States national anthem.
Right.
So,
Yes.
Interesting.
yeah, kind of, goofy trivia. No charge for
There
that.
you go. Mikki, what do you got on these opening scenes?
Loved it. I just love that immediately you feel like part of their family.
Yeah.
Just with the
Watching
dog running
go
around the
to room
house.
to room. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And then just the little bird and I don't know, just their banter at the table. It just like I said, I wanted to be part of that family. I wanted them as parents. I wanted the kids as my siblings. Like it was that picture perfect family that you want to be a part of.
Yes.
And I think he did such a good job of showing that in such a short amount of time because really within the first few minutes you're like, all right, I'm in it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm in and I care about these people. I care about this family. So I thought it was really well
100%.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So I love so many things about the intro of this movie. We get that great shot where she's about to flush the bird down the toilet, and first we see the silhouette of the bird, like we see the shadow,
Mhm.
and then you see, Carol Ann. She's like, and then the very next scene they're having a funeral. It's
Yeah.
fucking great. And
Yeah.
the dog is going from room to room, and he pilfers a little snack from each person. Chips from Dana. It's really great. I really love this scene with the two neighbors fighting over the remote control. They're watching the football game. He's watching Mr. Rogers. They're going back and forth. And this is why I love this movie so much. It's not a horror movie. It's just a great movie about family. And then it's got this subplot of this poltergeist that's like, for me, is almost secondary to the story about this family, which I just really love.
Yeah.
Really reminded me of E.T., just minus a dad. She's a single mom, but same thing. It's like, I didn't want to be Elliot. Of course I wanted to be Elliot. So just really great. I have a question. So why is he riding a BMX bike to get the beers, right? Like, did you see how big that complex is? There's no
And
liquor store.
he leaves half of them on the sidewalk.
Yeah,
And then he comes into the house with them spraying everywhere,
Exactly.
all over the house.
So the guy lives down the street and he's jumped on the kid's BMX bike to go get more beers because they've been watching the game and they ran out of beers.
Oh, so he went to
That was
his
the whole
house to
point.
get them.
That was
not the
his house.
Packy.
No,
I
that's
think
not
it
a
just
bad
shows you what a dunderhead will do to watch a football game.
Gotcha.
Hey,
gotcha.
that was a
I know,
pointed comment, wasn't it?
I was dunderheading last night.
Yeah. What the hell's wrong with a little dunderheading, sister?
Holy
I'm
shit.
kidding.
Oh my god!
Oh,
Can we
okay.
also
Yeah.
can we also discuss the cinematography of the scenes when you've got the static? You're looking at a static TV screen, and here's the thing: is like if you put a static on your screen, even to this day, you're not getting a strobe effect in
Right.
your room.
Oh,
And they're using the strobe effect, but it's super simple, but it's super effective because it gives you an uneasy feeling.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And when they're in the bed, the family's all in the bed because the kids were scared from the thunder. And she gets up and goes and walks through the TV. You can see her in the mirror. And you do this a couple times. There's a scene in the bathroom later with the mother, and you're seeing her in the mirror. And he's making a point of making the camera see other people in the mirror. And it's kind of like this thing about there's something on the other side, right?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
there's like a point behind making sure mirrors are in these shots.
and it's just spooky enough to keep it a spook movie, but it's also innocent and friendly enough to where I'm just having fun with it. I'm loving it. I love the hand coming out of the TV. Just all of
Yeah.
it is so great, and the dog is so protective of everybody. Like, I want this dog. I want this. I want all this. So these pool guys that are working on the pool, premature? No, I can talk about them.
Premature.
Okay.
Premature, because I
All right,
mentioned
let's
it later.
move on.
All right, let's move on. Okay. So the next morning, drinking glasses inexplicably break at breakfast and utensils bend by themselves. When Diane asks Carol Ann who she meant when she said they're here, she answers the TV people. At first, the ghosts play harmless tricks and amuse the mother, including moving and stacking the kitchen table chairs. Diane and Carol Ann discover an area in the kitchen where an unseen force will pull anything, including people, across the floor. When he arrives home from work, Diane convinces Steve the phenomenon is real by demonstrating it. He then announces that nobody's going in the kitchen until I know what was happening. During a terrible thunderstorm, a gnarled tree outside the kids' bedroom window suddenly comes to life and grabs Robbie, played by Oliver Robbins, Carol Ann's brother. However, this is merely a distraction used by the ghost to get Carol Ann's parents to leave her alone. Carol Ann is played by Heather O'Rourke, if I didn't mention that already. Using a force like a wind tunnel, they take Carol Ann through her bedroom closet into their dimension. Steve rescues Robbie, and the family believes that a tornado caused the trouble until they realize that they can't find Carol Ann. They search the entire house, including the pit, for the new swimming pool until Robbie hears Carol Ann calling for her mother eerily through the TV. So, Des, let's talk about the scene with the men that are digging up the swimming pool and the teenage daughter, Dana.
Yeah. So this is the 80s. Okay. So first of all, the main guy who's, ogling and inappropriately hitting on a, 16-year-old girl, that's his name was Billy Bear in 48 Hours.
He looks
Uh,
so familiar to me.
He was in Predator.
And he was also
in a
yeah,
couple,
also in
couple
Predator.
movies, yeah.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Yeah, I love this actor. He's a bad ass,
Mhm,
bad man.
mhm.
But I was saying to Delynn, I thought it was awkward that the mother looks out the window and sees all this happening, and she's laughing like, "Oh, those big dummies, those big sillies trying to bang my
Bluto.
16-year-old daughter." But I love Dana. She gives him the fuck you. So good. The whole breakfast scene, so good. The kids feeding the dog under the table, the waffles, and this dog is just on a junk food diet, right?
Yeah, because there's always kids dropping junk food on the floor.
But I'm gonna say, so as much as I love the mother character, she is like nonstop making like these really sketchy decisions with her kids. Like, she's okay with, these construction workers, she's not going to say a word to these guys like, hey, it's fucking inappropriate. You're like 35. She's 15. You fucking insane. No, she's just like, oh, that guy. And then, like, there's this force in the kitchen. Like, let's just say, like, best case scenario, this is some magnetic fucking, like, fault line phenomenon that could, like, kill you instantly. But she's putting her daughter in the circle, like, do it again. Do it again. Like, this could be causing, like, brain cancer to this kid. But she doesn't
She had
care.
her Rams football helmet on. What
Yeah,
wrong could
right?
possibly happen?
But
You're just
like,
a
that's
worry
best case
wart.
scenario.
I mean, what are you talking about? This girl is totally
Worst
safe.
case scenario, she's putting this child into the hands of the beast, which is what she's actually doing.
Well, when you
Um,
live in SoCal, you don't think about the beast. What the fuck? It's all that sun. It warps your brain. Come on.
I
Oh my
will
God.
defend Diane for a moment here. And I'm going to. So this is interesting. When he goes to talk to the doctors later, he says that Diane is 32 and Dana is 16.
Yeah.
That would mean that if Diane was Dana's mother, she had her when she was 16.
No, okay, so
Well, hold on. Let me
it's not-
finish.
it's not
Let
her
me
mother.
finish.
She's not her
Oh
mother.
my God, you guys sound like me.
Why would you
Look
do
at how
that?
mad she is. Look at how mad she is because I
I'm
stole
in
a
the middle
thunder.
and you're like, nope, nope, nope. You know what? Finish it. Fuck you.
Welcome to dysfunctional date night. She gets so
This-
mad. I love it.
You guys, this is our house.
Oh shit!
That's not true. I haven't told you to
Okay.
fuck off in a long time. Come on.
Yeah, but I,
Podcast is still fresh.
That's it.
Lots of time.
God.
So Dana is not her daughter. She is from Coach's previous marriage.
Are you saying that because you know it, or are you saying that because you surmise it?
No, it's true. It's true.
Okay.
And maybe that's why she doesn't give a shit if the pool guys bang her. I don't know.
How do you
Wow.
know that?
It's implied in the movie.
Oh,
Delane, go ahead. Give us
It's
the
never
facts.
implied in the movie. It's in the book. It's in the novelization. And I would have said that if you didn't jump all over me like an asshat.
Yeah, I just finished the novel actually. I read it in a day.
You didn't.
You
Shut up.
didn't. You're
goes, "No."
a
Oh my
liar.
God.
Damn you.
You're a
You're
liar.
a liar. That's an
You're a
that's an
fucking
inside
liar.
joke in our house. I've seen a movie and the
Oh.
girl is a Irish national and she has this great way of saying the word liar. She says, "You're a
You're a liar.
liar." So
You're a
every time
liar.
my wife tells a fib, I call her a lawyer.
You're a
That's
liar.
right. You frickin' lawyer.
guilty.
You shut it.
You're guilty.
Oh my goodness. All right. So moving on with the movie.
Right, the movie. By the way, too, what is up? Because I will go with the Des theory of when the guy is like through the window drinking the coffee and tasting the sauce,
that's
and
gross.
then she calls him Bluto. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
A Popeye cartoon?
This was a scene that we saw again in the Money Pit. So we get this exact same scene in the Money Pit where the guys working the house are reaching through the window and helping themselves to breakfast and coffee and whatnot. But
That's a
yeah.
great way.
I would've whacked
That's
his
a great
fucking
way to.
hand with
Yeah,
a
that's a
spoon.
great way to get thrown in the money pit in my house.
Yeah.
Would you like to see if gravity still works? Come on, we'll take you for a little ride.
Okay.
All right. So a traumatized Steve meets with a small group of parapsychologists from UC Irvine, stating that we just want you to help us find our little girl. Dr. Lesh, played by Beatrice Straight, Ryan, played by Richard Lawson, and Marty, played by Martin Casella, are awestruck by the manifestations they witness. With the parapsychologist present, Steve shows them things that they've never seen before. He opens the door to the children's room to reveal toys and other objects flying around by themselves and disembodied laughing voices reverberating around the room. Previously, Ryan described a Matchbox car taking 7 hours to move 7 feet, calling it fantastic. Of course, this would never register on the naked eye. After they see the Freelings' house, they're all just a little bit humbled. Over coffee and a coffee urn that moves by itself, the parapsychologists explain to the Freelings the difference between a poltergeist and a haunting. They determine that indeed it is a poltergeist they're experiencing. Mickey, I love how shook Dr. Lesh is after seeing the bedroom. I mean,
Yeah.
it's justified because it's batshit crazy, but I love the shaking of the hands as she's trying to drink her coffee. I loved it. It was crazy.
And then she's almost embarrassed, and they're like, "We're used to it."
Yeah.
I love it.
So come on, guys. So The day before, you've got like a bunch of fucking ex fucking cons trying to hit on your 15-year-old girl digging up a pool in your backyard. That evening, your like 7-year-old daughter goes missing. You're not calling the police. Your 5-year-old daughter goes missing.
Yeah, but
like
think about it. What are you going to do? First of all, obviously, that's some
call the
that's some pretty
police.
good Michoacan they're smoking there because let's be honest, they're a little paranoid. Not only that, but yeah, this entity took my daughter, but she's somewhere in my house and I hear her through my television. You know how
No, I'm not
fucking
saying-
crazy that sounds, right?
I'm
You
not saying
understand
any of
that.
that. I'm calling the police and I'm going to say this afternoon, these fucking scumbags working on my backyard were hitting on my 15-year-old daughter, and now my 5-year-old daughter is missing. I think you need to go speak with them immediately. Like, you're calling 911 immediately. My daughter is gone. Like, you're going to hide that? Like, oh, let's call UCLA and see if they have like a spook division.
But they're talking to her through the TV.
Right.
They know the guys
they
don't
know
have
she's
her.
yeah, they know that she's still there. I mean, you have to kind of suspend belief, kind of in reality, but it's the idea
They
that
didn't even call the dentist for their son. Come on.
yeah, and that poor
I'm gonna-
kid's got some Bucky Beaver teeth. Holy
Oh
shit.
God, they're so bad, dude. The side profile when he's going, Mom, Mom, Mom. No, yeah, listen. Even if you're gonna go the UCLA route, right? You still gotta call 911. Get the police over. Be like, these guys were here. Maybe you should look into this side of it too, just in case it's not like a possession. And then also turn on the TV for the cops and be like, listen.
No, you're not going to do that. You're being totally irrational. Smart people.
No way.
You're not going to waste it because you know what they're going to do. They're going to look at you and go, "That's nice, lady. Here, get some tinfoil out of the cupboard, make it into a hat, and everything will be just fine." Okay? Yeah. And then when they tell the boss, "Hey, that guy in Cuesta Verde, he's fucking 1096. Stay away from that house." They'll put a marker on there. It's 2 cops at all times. That guy's lost his fucking mind.
2 cops at all
That's
times.
right. Yeah, what's wrong with him? He's 1096. He's a mental subject.
Yeah. Okay.
Says he talks to his daughter through the television. Okay.
So another thing I didn't understand. Another thing I didn't understand. So they get there. These UCLA people get there, right? And they're talking, like you said, about the Matchbox car. So he takes them upstairs, opens the door, and we see like the circus that's going on in there, right? So do they bring the cameras up there and start filming this? They're like, no, let's set up at the bottom of the stairs and see if we can get some shots of some orbs coming down the stairs if we're lucky. Like, what? The show is upstairs. Like, take fucking Billy D. Williams upstairs.
Yes, I think the same thing too, yeah.
I was waiting for him to like break
you
out
and Lando
into Ghostbusters.
Calrissian can go up there and it'll be good.
You and Lando go up to Cloud City and fucking videotape what's going on in the fucking bedroom. No, they're gonna sit downstairs and slow play the fucking orbs coming down the stairs.
Yeah, but you know what the deal is? They're not even remotely able to deal with what's in that bedroom.
They're out of their element.
Yeah, they're screwed, dude. They're just recorders. You know, it's like Paul Blart instead of the police. You know what I mean?
But if
they're not going to make any arrests of any entities. They're just going to go.
But if you're looking for some good shock video, like there it is.
Yeah, you're right, but it's just too much for them. They're not ready. You know, all that expensive
Also, it kind
crap.
of seems like it kind of seems like if you step into that room, they try to attack you. So
yeah, but you can film from outside the door. I mean, they opened the door and watched for fucking 5 minutes. The Hulk riding the pony.
That was awesome, by the way.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Oh yeah, and special shout out to all the Star Wars toys because we were like, look at that. There's a C-3PO light switch. There's a Darth Vader helmet.
So
like it was everywhere. We were loving it.
Yeah, every toy I never had.
Yeah, at one point, Carol Ann has a Luke Skywalker in her mouth.
Yeah. You know what that's worth today? Stupid. Put that back.
So much.
Yeah.
That's $150 you got there. What are you doing?
Mickey, go ahead. What do you got on these scenes?
I mean, I didn't really think about it, but in a way, I kind of agree with you about why are they at the bottom of the fucking stairs? Why aren't they at the top? Yeah. I never really thought about it. In regards to calling the police, I don't know if my kid was talking to me through the television, I wouldn't call 911. I would go to UCLA and talk to the parapsychologist. Like that's honestly because that's the way my mind thinks. I immediately think like, ooh, you know what I mean?
I'd like to speak with Peter Venkman, please.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Okay.
Is Egon here?
Oh shit.
But I just you're right with the whole sitting at the bottom of the stairs thing. Like maybe one of them could have held the door open and the other one could have stood in the doorway and maybe filmed some stuff. I don't know, but I do think they were out of their element just because when he was like, "Oh, it took 7 hours, but we got it," blah blah blah. And then they open up the door and they're all like, "Gunk," like all the jaws hit the floor.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
I
he
think they
spent
were.
7 hours. He spent 7 hours on a Matchbox car. That was worth his time. But he opened that door, didn't think like, let's get the Polaroid. Come on.
Yeah, I think they were a little overwhelmed, honestly.
Yeah.
Nothing's
Yeah.
going to sell me on this choice. It just didn't
Okay.
work.
Good enough.
Okay.
All right. So the group witnesses several paranormal episodes where they hear Carol Ann talking to Diane through the TV, see spirits, and hear the pounding footsteps of some terrible force, which subsequently injures Marty. Marty also suffers a terrifying hallucination where he seems to tear off his own face after watching a steak explode into a mess of gross innards. The parapsychologists leave, with the exception of Ryan, admitting that they need more help. Shaken and overwhelmed, Dana leaves to stay with friends. The Freelings also send Robbie and the dog to his grandmother's house for his safety. So, Tony, I don't want to assume that you're familiar with Ghostbusters, but I think pretty much all of us have seen it. And these scenes in particular, the lady coming down the stairs looks just like the ghost in the library to me. And then when they're watching back the tape and there's like the orbs, but you can see like the shape of people, that seemed very much like Ghostbusters to me as well. So I feel like this is kind of where that like almost like maybe this was this all ILM? Maybe they were all working together, so they kind of would look similar. But to me, this is where it got very reminiscent of Ghostbusters.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it's a great theory. Like it works in a I won't call this a horror movie, a drama, I guess. As a storytelling point, it's incredible. Why wouldn't you do it? Why wouldn't you put it in a comedy? And not only that, but I don't think up until Ghostbusters came out, anybody tried to mock the paranormal. So why wouldn't it be awesome? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to get rid of something, you call the exterminator, or in this case, you call Ghostbusters. And I mean, you can't beat it too. It's even the idea that like the way he utilizes music in his films is so great to make a point. Like you brought the scene up with the strobing effect, and the
Yes.
music kind of comes to a head, and it's just he just combines it so well. And even with the shots, like you said, with the mirror in it, he's that guy that he loves the camera work, and he loves the kind of double entendre that brings. That's it makes you think about it. You don't think about it when you see it, you think about it later and you're like, wow, that is cool, because he's just awesome at that. That's his bag.
Yeah. There were a couple of scenes in this movie that I wish that he had done kind of like what he did with Jaws, where he was leaving a lot of it to your imagination. Like you didn't have to see the shark for it to be scary. In fact, in some scenes it was better when you didn't see the shark. And I think with him pulling his face off in the mirror, that would have been a perfect opportunity to maybe just let us see some of the chunks falling in the sink. Like maybe you start off showing him like clawing at his own face, and then we just start seeing clumps of meat falling in the sink, and then he looks up real quick and he's fine again. Or maybe even we get like a really fast like 1 second cut scene of the face mangled and mutilated, but not enough time for me to really focus on the bad makeup.
Yeah. No, you're right. It went on for a little too long.
Yes.
And
I also want to say that I did not like the scene with the mother and and Dr. Lesh talking, because they frigging whispered through the whole thing, and I didn't understand a goddamn word they were saying.
Nothing.
I
do want to say
in a like a big huge theater, all quiet with nobody talking. Maybe you picked up what they were saying,
Right.
but even just sitting in my room watching it, I had no clue what was saying.
We had to keep turning it up. Yeah.
I want to say though, in the scene where he's tearing his face off, that scene actually evolved instead of devolving. It looked terrible when we first saw the face before he started ripping the meat off.
Yeah.
That's when it looked really bad. As it went on and he got closer to like seeing the skeleton, it looked really good.
Yeah.
So I think they could have done without the first, 3 seconds of that maybe just started, tearing at his regular face. The meat falls in the sink, and then we start getting some shots of the final result.
Yeah.
Well, first off, he goes into the kitchen of these people's house that he just met, and he starts poking through their shit,
just eating their
taking stuff out of
food.
the fridge,
Yeah.
eating
Yeah.
it,
Making a
and then
steak.
and then he pulls out a steak that's not wrapped.
And he smells
know.
it like it's
just
going to
a
be
plain
delicious.
old
Yeah.
raw steak sitting in the fridge that he throws on
next
the
to
counter.
their chicken. Next to their chicken.
Right? And I love he starts inchworming, but then when all the stuff starts coming up, that
really
was
great.
cool.
It was
Like,
great.
If they could have done the face like that would have been
Yeah.
awesome.
Would have been really good. Agreed.
Yeah.
What's he gonna do? Start cooking a steak in their kitchen at like 2
Right?
in the
Was.
morning?
He
Steak
was.
the whole house up.
He literally pulled out a fry pan. He was ready to cook that steak.
Caramelize some onions. What the
Some
fuck?
cremini mushrooms, maybe a little
Like
Oh,
the
polenta
smell of
would
that
have been
steak
delicious.
wouldn't wake anybody up.
No.
Oh my god. That
Oh
guy
my
took the
God.
biggest beating. He took a bigger beating than Carol Ann.
Right.
Oh my God, yeah, they took a gigantic bite out of
And
him.
then the worst part
Yeah.
is that I hadn't seen the movie in a while. I looked at him like, that's not Martin Short, is it? God, it looks like Martin
Oh
Short.
shit.
Especially he's got the
Funny.
big 80s Coke bottle glasses on, so,
Yeah, absolutely.
Inner Space, one of my favorite Martin Shorts.
There you go. That's a classic.
Oh, okay.
All right, so moving on. Later that day, Steve has a conversation with his boss, Teague, about a new housing project going up. They talk about how Steve's company has built over cemeteries in the past, even where the Freelings live now. Oh, ho, ho.
Oh,
Surprise,
Little
surprise,
foreshadowing. Whenever the company needs land to build or expand housing communities, they'd move cemeteries, coffins, headstones, and all. Teague shows Steve a new housing development the company is building not far from where the Freelings live currently. As the two walk by a hillside cemetery, Teague tells Steve that he can have a new house right on that spot with a large bay window overlooking the valley. Steve remarks that the house can't simply be built over a cemetery. Teague tells Steve, that's hard to say, Teague tells Steve,
Tongue
that
twister.
the company has moved.
Teague tells Steve.
Teague tells Steve, blah, 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 that
He
the company
doesn't have its license, Letha.
Teague tells Steve that the company has moved whole cemeteries before. The coffins were dug up and moved along with their headstones to new locations nearby. Teague then reveals that much of Cuesta Verde was built on the location of one of these relocated cemeteries. Steve seems astonished at this news, stating that he thinks it's sacrilegious. So,
Seem?
Nikki, I don't know if I think it's a bad idea to move cemeteries, but though maybe it's best to let the dead rest in peace, don't you
What's
think?
a cemetery?
I mean, you'll never know.
It's pronounced cemetery. Get it right. Jeez.
Is
You'll
it a
never know because I'm
cemetery?
just going to throw you off the bridge.
You know what was funny? Oh, this is kind of funny. I painted a I
This is
painted
going
the
in the quarry.
inside. I painted the inside of a crematorium. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Yes.
And my boss is like, he's a big guy, let's just say. So, and I'm a very skinny guy, let's just say. So it was funny. The guy was there, and I said to him, I go, "How long would it take to cremate me?" He goes, "For that guy right there," he goes, "about 2 hours." He goes, "For you, I could probably do it in like 15 minutes." It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
Oh
Go ahead,
my
Nikki.
God.
No, I just said you're going to go in the quarry soon if you don't watch it. She's about to toss you in the quarry.
Yeah, you're gonna see this door open up behind me, and she's gonna attack me. She's gonna vanish from her screen and appear in my screen.
No.
Oh my God. I lost.
I don't
where we
know.
were. Oh,
Yeah, I was just saying, do you think it's a better idea to just let the dead rest in peace as opposed to moving cemeteries in the interest of real estate?
don't fucking move anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
If it's
Leave
a
it.
cemetery, leave it.
Yeah.
agreed.
That's why, fucking take a golf course away or something instead.
Dude,
Yeah.
kind of like that weird cemetery in the island right up the street from our house. Like,
Yeah.
there's this cemetery like in the middle of like all these lanes of traffic. Like it's like it's surrounded on all three sides by fucking streets. It's the weirdest thing you've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's like
It's
30
it's
feet by
basically,
30
yeah.
feet.
Yeah, it's 30 feet by 30 feet, and it's like literally like one street going that way, one street going that way. It's like a triangle,
Mhm.
and
It's
there's
an
just a
island.
cemetery in the middle.
It's
Yeah.
an island.
Yeah.
I feel like, once you've got some people buried, don't mess with them. Don't mess with their headstones. Don't mess with anything. That's their space.
Yeah,
Leave them
I
alone.
don't think that actually under the way New York State does it, that you can ever do that. I think that once you dedicate that property, you're stuck with it. I mean, I can tell you there's a famous cemetery in Buffalo that is called Forest Lawn, and it's been there, I would say, since about 1790, 1780. I mean, a long time. And it's prime real estate. If anybody was to ever develop it, it's beautiful. It's right adjacent to a huge park, and it's got, like water running through it and all sorts of stuff. But it's the kind of thing where I don't think that would ever occur. I think in this case, it's just, expeditious for the plot. So we got to do it.
Right.
But
Right.
Like, honestly, to me, like, when you think about it, it's a shell. It's your meat sack that's buried there.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
But like,
You're not there anymore.
Right.
Sack.
Meat
What a
sack.
happy
you're
thought,
not there
honey.
anymore. Well, but like,
Right. I gotcha.
don't fuck with it. Like, just leave it alone.
So
Yeah.
I was talking
This
to a
actually
friend.
was I'm gonna jump over you, sorry. So this story was
Spit it out, Junior.
yeah,
You're jumping over me. What do you got to say?
Yeah, it was inspired by a story about a park where this exact thing happened. It was a cemetery. They decided that they were going to move everybody. They got bids. They took the lowest bid. The lowest bid guy realized that he could not do it for the price he said, so he just left the bodies. And
Nice.
there is a
Wow.
park over a bunch of bodies, and I think it's Chicago or something like that. I'd have to look it up for sure, but yeah, it's true.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yep.
So I was talking to a friend about what he was going to do when he died, because he and his wife had won a contest where they had won like some grave plots. I don't remember exactly what it was, but
That's
it was
a
like they won
pretty
like 2
morbid
plots.
ass grave or contest. Jesus.
Yeah, it was. I can't remember what it was, but he had bought like a lottery tickets for something, and that's what he won. So he ended up selling them for a few grand. It was Kevin Gilligan, so it was.
Oh, okay.
So we started talking. He's like, I don't know if I want to be cremated or buried. And I was like, I've always wanted to be cremated. I think that's the way I want to go, and maybe sprinkled into some, tree or something. And they do a new thing now where they actually turn you into like fertilizer.
Oh, yeah. Earth composting.
Yeah. And put you with plant you with like a tree or something.
Mhm.
But it's just so uncertain what happens afterwards. Like, I know it's not just lights out. I know it's not. Like, there's something else way better than this, probably. Super interesting. I'm actually looking forward to it. I'm exhausted from living. Like, I can't
It's
wait
one
to
way to
see what
phrase
this
it.
is going to be. Yeah. I'm ready to see what the next thing is. I mean, I'm not, not actively looking to die, but when it happens, I'm
not trying any skydiving without any parachutes or anything.
No, but I'm
got-
very curious to see what's coming next.
Yeah.
But imagine if it's like, oh, you shouldn't have done the cremation. You can't get on this train now, or you shouldn't have done the burial thing. Now you gotta sleep there forever. You could have got on the fucking, the escalator to fucking Funville, but I don't know.
I don't think that's how you get on the escalator, Funville. But I like the way you're
I
thinking.
know. I don't
That
know. I just
probably
wanted to
isn't
make
it.
sure I think it through.
I would like to do the composting thing. It looks very peaceful, and it looks like the best way to do it. The most natural, peaceful way to do it.
I suspect the moment you die, your spirit is released from your body, and
absolutely.
you're doing
I'm not saying I'm
something
going to
else.
feel it. I'm just saying it seems like when we died in, earlier times, they took your body and they chucked it into a hole,
Right.
and it would just decompose.
Food for worms, baby. Food for worms.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, basically, when you do this, it's the same thing. They're just composting you in a way so that your stuff isn't in the water table.
Okay, so they just planted these 3 little saplings in the island where our mailbox is that are never going to grow. So if I die anytime soon, honey, I want you to chop me up and spread me around those 3 little saplings
All right.
by the mailboxes.
Tony tells
All
tells everybody he's going to put me in the bean field. So
Oh,
First
shit.
of all, dear, I don't tell anybody but you that because I don't need any
Secret window.
witnesses. Okay.
I think that Mikki just said that for a reason, like in case I go missing, I'm in the bean field.
Yeah, well, there's 45 acres of bean field, and I got me a backhoe, so don't you push it.
Oh, this is fucking secret window.
That's
He's got
right.
a cornfield behind his house.
He'll come up and go, I have 2 words for you. Bean field.
Oh shit. Yeah, Delin says all the time, I will kill you. And she's not joking.
Well, there you go.
No, I'm joking.
Gotta know where you
What do you
stand.
say,
I'm not
honey?
gonna kill you.
What, darling?
Yeah.
What do you say about the jury?
Oh God! You're revealing all my secrets. This is bad.
There's
I
not a
said-
jury in the world that convict
No,
him.
I basically said, look, I'm sure I can convince at least 2 or 3 people on that jury that you drove me to do this. So if I get a hung jury, I don't go to prison.
Tony, I'm a witness.
All right.
Okay.
I don't know if I don't know if it's for the defense or the prosecution, but that's okay.
I
There
think Tony
is a
joined
video
the
that
pod.
we have seen that says, I told you no, and I meant it.
No, Tony joined the podcast so he could start building his case.
That's right.
He's like, just listen to episode 4, 6, and 9, and no jury would ever fucking commit me. Just listen to the Poltergeist episode.
Oh my
It
God.
shows the depths
Lord
of
help us.
depravity.
Holy shit.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh.
Okay.
All right.
What
Back
are
to
we
the
doing
movie.
again? Poltergeist?
Poltergeist.
Okay.
Rumor has it.
Oh my goodness. So when the
Rumor has it.
parapsychologists return, they bring a spiritual medium, Tangina Barons, played by Zelda Rubinstein, a tiny woman who uses her psychic sensitivity to ascertain facts about the disturbances. Tangina tells them that Carol Ann is alive and in this house. According to Tangina, the spirits haunting the home have left this life, but have not gone into the spectral light. They're stuck in between dimensions, watching their loved ones grow up, but feeling alone, causing them to feel lonely and even angry. Carol Ann was born in the house and has the strongest connection to it. At only 5 years old, she gives off her own life force that is as bright as the light. It distracts and confuses the spirits who think Carol Ann is their salvation. Hence, they've taken her. However, Tangina also warns that there's a malevolent spirit also exists in that next dimension. It likes that the spirits are confused and lost and uses Carol Ann as a distraction so they cannot move on to the light. Tangina says it lies to her and tells her things only a child can understand. To her, it's simply another child. To us, it is the beast. So, Tony, I love Tangina. She's got that right amount of oddity to make her like otherworldly and strange while still being very human.
Right. And it's the idea too that, she has that air about her where you just know that you need to follow what she's telling you. If you look at Jo Beth Williams when she first speaks with her, she's like, yes, okay, no problem. Whatever you say, you got it. I'll do it. You know what I mean? And it's not just to get Carol Ann back. It's because she just sees this woman kind of parade around and she's just like, this is the pros from Dover, man. We're good. We're gonna get
So
this taken
good.
care of, with some tennis balls and some rope and a little luck. We're all set. I mean, it's impressive. I'm like, shit, that's all it takes. Perfect. There you go.
She came in with the handbook, right? The playbook.
Apparently, yeah. She didn't even have to refer to it. She had that in her back pocket the whole time.
So apparently she won an Oscar for a part that she only performed 5 minutes on the screen and got the Oscar for it.
Wow. There you go.
I'm not
really?
100% sure that's true. I think so.
I was gonna say, wait.
You made that up, you dog.
No, I didn't.
Oh.
No, I know that one of the actresses in this movie won an Oscar for 5 minutes of screen time. It was the least screen time ever done to win an Oscar, and I'm pretty sure it was her.
What's her name?
Her name is...
Are you looking it up, Dylan?
Zelda Rubinstein. No, you can go ahead and look it up.
All right, Zelda.
Dylan's done checking my facts. She just assumes it's bullshit.
Always. You're so full of shit. It's amazing.
She's so good though in this. She is
she's awesome.
Poltergeist. She is Poltergeist. Like when she shows up, the movie is now notched up another level.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
She has that like old, sweet Southern, like don't fuck with me, mama
Yeah.
energy.
And I love when the father is like, I was trying to ask her questions or answer her with my mind. And she goes, I heard you. Like, shut the fuck up, dude.
I don't
I
like
can
doing
hear you
parlor
up
tricks.
here. Yeah.
I don't do parlor tricks. So good.
Yeah, she's not having any of his bullshit.
Yeah, it's excellent. She gets a couple of great lines in this. You've never done this before. Well, neither of you. You're right. You go.
Yeah.
She didn't get an Oscar, but she got an Academy of Science Fiction and Fantasy and Horror nominee.
Oh, that's the
And she
same
got-
thing.
No, she
No.
was winner in 1983 Saturn Award for Best Supporting Actress in Poltergeist.
Okay, what about the mother? What's her name?
Jo Beth
Jo Beth
Williams.
Beth
Williams?
Williams.
All right, let's type her in. Did she ever win an Oscar?
All right, hold on.
It's going to be for a 5-minute part.
Let's see.
She
She was nominated for an Academy Award for her 1994 live-action short On Hope. So no, but she is the head of the Screen Actors Guild now.
Somebody won an Oscar.
Yes.
When Beatrice Straight won the award for Best Supporting Actress for her role as an unfortunate housewife, Louise Schumacher, she did so after appearing for just 5 minutes and 2 seconds, making the shortest performance to win an Oscar ever.
So who was it?
Beatrice Straight. It's definitely not Zelda Rubinstein.
It was the older woman on the Ghostbusters team that came.
Is that who it is?
Yes. Okay. So I knew.
Okay, so that's who it is.
Okay, so I knew one of the women won the Oscar for a 5-minute performance. I don't know if it was worth the 10 minutes we just dragged the listeners through to get that out, but
it was Dr.
It was worth every second. What are you kidding?
Dr. Lash.
The suspense was
Dr.
killing.
Lash.
Holy shit.
Oh, God.
Okay.
All right. On we go.
Let's
They
do
realize
it.
the entrance to the other dimension is through the children's bedroom closet. I mean, how did you not know that? But anyways,
God.
Tangina tests the dimensional portal with a few tennis balls that drop through the living room ceiling below the kids' closet. By tying a rope around a live person who can enter and presumably exit on the other side with enough time to grab Carol Ann, they could possibly bring her back. Tangina intends to be the one to go into the light, but Diane insists, saying that Carol Ann will only come to her mother. With the rope around her waist, Diane goes into the portal, and Tangina coaxes the agonized spirits away from Carol Ann to go to the real light. While Tangina is in her trance-like state telling the lost spirits to cross over, Steve panics and pulls on the rope, meeting the beast face to face. Diane falls through the living room ceiling, clutching Carol Ann and bearing new streaks of gray in her hair, presumably from fright. Both Diane and Carol Ann are also covered in ectoplasm. After Steve revives both of them in the downstairs tub, Tangina pronounces, "This house is clean." So, Mickey, I love the special effects. The pinkish slime, the flickering lights, and the ring on the ceiling. For 1982, I thought this was fantastic.
So I've got some bad news for you. Mickey's mic is muted and she is no longer in the scene. She has been poltergeist into their house. She's gone.
Actually,
Mickey, come back.
I just heard
Stay away from the light.
heard an odd sound. I think I know where Mickey went to.
Mickey, stay away from the light. Oh, she's back. We pulled her through the closet door.
And a pee.
She's covered in ectoplasm.
Yellow.
She's covered in ecto-pee-pee.
Honey, go ahead and you talk about the pink slime. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that the same shit that they were using in Ghostbusters too?
Absolutely. They stole it.
Well, and you know what it made me think of? It made me think of like placenta.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get some more placenta giant vagina hole a little later down the road here when the closet becomes a giant spook-gina. Okay. I don't know. Spooky Gina.
God.
Okay. Tony, what'd you Tony?
I don't think that's allowed.
What'd you think of these scenes? What'd you think of these scenes?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wait, you guys froze?
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you going to?
We're waiting.
She's like, can I say something? Crickets. You can try.
You guys froze on me for a second.
Oh yeah, and you sped up like you were possessed. You were like, ooh.
That's normal. That's not an effect.
Okay.
That's totally normal.
Oh, okay. That was okay. Perfect.
Anyway, what I was going to say is nothing related to this movie, but I really wish you had left in the entire disaster piece theater of Fast Times.
No, I mean, I can go back and put it back in there if you like.
Oh,
sorry, that
God.
was just too funny. Continue. I'm sorry.
It was like 7 minutes of us laughing, though. It was. I think people would have shut the podcast off.
I like listening to people laugh, but anyway.
Tony,
yes.
What'd you think of the rescue scene?
Yeah, no, I loved it. The quick wit between you have to go, and I think it's also awesome because it shows Diane's absolute conviction. At first she's totally doubting and kind of goofy, and then she just becomes the oh my god, tie the rope around me and send me in there. I'm getting my daughter. Damn the torpedoes and full speed ahead. Let's get it. So
yeah, it's a lot of fun. I love the way the porthole was in the living room ceiling and the closet. It was so clever. I love her plan, the tennis balls, the rope, the whole 9 yards. It's great. Billy D. Williams down there. I got the tennis ball. It says 1. I got the tennis ball. It says 2. It's like, all right, let's just get the
that
fucking
means
kid.
it's got to work, right? I mean, shit, 2 tennis balls. Perfect.
That's it. Send her
What
in.
could be the problem? Yeah.
Send in the clowns. Oh
Yeah.
Oh
shit.
my god.
So okay. So all right. So are you gonna read off the next part where they're packing the house up and getting ready to move, or no?
Well, yeah. I mean,
Okay, so I'm
that's
not
what
gonna
I
get
do,
there.
right?
We're not
Yeah,
gonna get there yet.
that's what I do.
That's what
Okay.
you try to do. Come on.
Oh my god. Eat a bag of dicks.
Stutter it out.
Unfortunately, though, the spirits have seemingly moved on. The beast hasn't, and it wants revenge. On their final night in the house, Steve leaves Diane alone with the kids so he can go and talk to Teague, who presumably is trying to get Steve to reconsider living. Living or leaving?
Living.
Okay. Yeah.
Once he
Where?
figures out what Teague's done, he's going to make him consider living again. Yeah.
I
Do
know,
I have to
right?
take over
Oh my-
again like last week?
Honey, listen.
I took
Don't
over.
start shit. You
I
did. You
took
took
over
over
last week.
and you flubbed it. So stop. While
It's true.
Robbie and Carol Ann are getting ready for bed, Robbie's clown doll comes to life and pulls him under the bed. Why the hell are they leaving this clown doll in that room?
Thank you.
I need
Thank
to
you.
know.
That's- Wait, what?
They literally put that thing facing him. This kid is terrified of this doll, and they
Wait,
leave it there facing
Why
him.
are they putting the doll in there? Why are they putting the two children back in the belly of the fucking beast? Why didn't they just like set up a little cot in the closet for Carol Ann? Right? like what? Okay, so they're packing up their shit the next day and they're getting ready to move, right? The movie ends right here. Like they pack the shit into the truck, they drive away, they go to the hotel, he pushes the TV out. This is a perfect movie. So this is like the end of Tombstone now. So they've got their baby back from the belly of the beast. Like, and then they're like, let's stay one more night. Let's put the kids back in the bedroom, open up the closet door, we'll push Carol Ann, like, we'll set her up in the closet with a cot. It's fine now. This is fine. Fuck them. These kids deserve to be in the belly of the slough. Fuck this. This is fucking just the dumbest shit ever.
Well,
the worst ending.
let's go with the idea that it's the first time they've ever had a poltergeist in the house. And once that little lady told them the place was clear, they bought her shit, lock, stock, and pull on barrel.
Ow, little lady, what are we saying?
Everything's fine. Well, I'm sorry, I can't think of her name. Tangina.
Tangina.
Tangina said everything's clear, right? Well, fuck, you do what you're told, and you put the kids back in the room. And no, you're absolutely right, Des. I wouldn't. You couldn't fucking keep me there another fucking second. I would.
No,
I
once
would have
had
been like,
Carol
you
Ann,
know
I would
what?
have run out of there.
I'm paying extra. You assholes, pack it up, put it in the truck. I am gone.
And I said that to Dylan. I go, there's no way. I'm not even taking any of that fucking poltergeist shit out of there.
I'm down the road. They went to the nearest Holiday Inn. I'd be in fucking Arizona before I stopped the car.
Yeah.
That was like in who was it? Blah, 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 blah. Eddie Murphy Delirious was like, too bad we can't stay, baby. You know what I mean? Like, get the fuck out.
That's right. I got beautiful wallpaper. This place is beautiful. Get out. Too bad we can't stay, baby.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
And those children, there's no way they're laying down like, okay, you guys, okay here in your bedroom where you both just were,
with the clown, with the clown doll.
So, I mean,
you know the fucked up part, for as screwy as it is, it's still an awesome scene. Because if you mention that clown to any fucking person in our age group, they are going to tell you that that's inspired a weird fear of clowns.
Yes.
I mean, I want to know how many fucking clowns got a chance to do a screen test. That has got to be the most fucked up clown on the face of the earth. I mean, it's
so
worse
good.
than it. But
I think that's what made people scared of clowns.
Shit, yeah.
Not it.
Oh yeah.
But even if these people were dumb enough to stay in the house one more night, those two kids are going to be sleeping on the parents' bed while she's in there taking the shower. Like, no one's going back into that fucking room. That room is boarded up. No one's going back into the room like, yeah, okay. Listen,
Agreed.
How about this? We're gonna build a little tree house in the tree outside the window for Billy to sleep in, and we'll put Carol Ann in the closet. Like, fucking cut the shit. Okay.
Not only that, but weirdly enough, the knob on their room has a key lock on it.
Yeah.
What the fuck is up with that? What do you keep these kids under lock and key?
I couldn't tell if he put that on there after the fact so that they could lock the door, or if that was the way it was all along. I couldn't remember.
Yeah. She's like, okay, kids, good night. She shuts the door and locks it behind her. So they're like locked in there.
See ya.
Good night. Woo.
All right. So Diane, relaxing in the master bedroom, hears her son screaming and tries to investigate, but she's pulled against the wall and the ceiling by an unseen force. Robbie manages to rip the clown doll to pieces, but a strange mouth-like portal appears in Carol Ann's closet and attempts to suck the children in.
Mouth-like?
I'm saying
It's a giant vagina.
It's a throat. It's a throat.
It's a giant vagina.
You're a giant vagina. Anyway.
Got him. You got him there.
Oh, shit.
Diane tries to get to her son and daughter, but run into the beast itself. And will you shut?
I'm sorry.
Oh, God.
Not your fault. I'm yelling at him. Diane tries to get her son and daughter, but runs into the beast itself in the form of a snarling skeletal demon. It blocks Carol Ann's and Robbie's door and lunges at her, causing her to fall down the stairs. Diane runs to the backyard to seek help from her next-door neighbors, but slips into the freshly dug swimming pool. A rainstorm has filled it with rain and mud, and as Diane tries to escape, coffins begin erupting from the earth, releasing skeletal corpses into the pool with her. Her neighbors hear the commotion. It's awesome. Neighbors hear the commotion and arrive to help Diane out of the pool, but they refuse to enter the house, with the windows now blazing with ghostly energy. Diane runs back into the house alone to get Robbie and Carol Ann. She finds Carol Ann and Robbie barely able to fight the energy that's trying to suck them into the portal. They're dangling from their bed frames, hanging on only by their hands while their feet sway towards the closet door. Diane manages to pull them both to safety, and they run from the house, or they attempt to at least. So, Tony, to me, this was the scariest part of the movie, because slipping in that mud, sliding back into the pool with the skeletons and the coffins, it was so gross. I'm just like this was the scariest part to me.
Yeah, absolutely. The whole thing kind of evoked Raiders of the Lost Ark, only because I was on a Spielberg thing. But it was it was the kind of deal where it's like, he loves to pit you against the force, and you've got to find a way out. And she went from kind of ditzy mom to super mom, and she's now all about Carol Ann and Robbie, and she's gonna get them, and all of a sudden it's just grab my hand and we'll pull you in, and we got everybody out of there, and it was great. But it was the idea that this is definitely you're gonna get the fright here. So
yeah, Tony, that scene reminded me so much of Miriam after Indy, breaks the wall and she's got the skeletons falling on her.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
so that was very similar. Mickey, what do you got?
Love that scene. Again, that was a very, very, very that's one of the scenes that I remember vividly from the movie. That, and besides the guy peeling his face off, but just her, like, everywhere she turned there was a skull face, like, no matter what.
Right.
And there's just trying to, like, climb out of this mud pit, and then finally the neighbors are seeing what's happening, but like no one will help her.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, to be fair, I don't know if I'd run into a house that was blinking. Do you know what I mean? But like,
Yeah. Like a rave,
blinking.
go in there with some ecstasy.
yeah. But like, it was just it's so terrifying. I mean, I'm not a mother, but I know how I feel about my dog.
Oh
so...
no, dear, you're a mother, all right. You're a
Yeah, she's a
real mother. Please continue.
Oh,
love
shit.
you. I love you so much.
Such a vulgar hand fucking gesture.
That's right.
Such a pristine podcaster.
Moving right along, I'm at like 10% here, girls. So wrap it up.
Podcaster that pooped her pants at a rest stop in Virginia.
Everybody has a bad day.
Okay, let's fucking finish this thing.
All right, moving on. Coffins and bodies begin exploding out of the ground throughout the house, much like
This ass.
it's like hemorrhoids on Dez's ass. Oh, that's bad. So Steve pulls up in his car with Teague as a passenger. They both see the dead bodies erupting from the ground. Steve recalls the earlier conversation where Teague revealed that Cuesta Verde was built over the site of a relocated cemetery. It's now obvious that Teague never really relocated the cemetery. He simply built the housing development right over the graves. Realizing this truth, Steve screams at him in anger. Dana arrives in her boyfriend's car and is hysterical over what is happening to the house. The Freelings get into Steve's station wagon and they drive off. The beast grows so angry that the house implodes through the portal into another dimension as stunned neighbors, including Teague, look on. The weary family checks into a hotel for the night, not wishing to tempt fate. Steve pushes the television set outside of their room.
Not
So to
wishing
me,
to
Des,
tempt fate again.
this is a perfect 1982 ending. You know, as the camera's panning back, you've got like calm music, so you know it's over at least for now. And I loved it.
So did you notice that Dana had a giant hickey on her neck when she gets out of the red Trans Am?
Yeah. The Smokey and the Bandit red Trans Am with the big chicken on the hood. Yeah, awesome.
The Trans Am. I had 2 of those actually. Not at the same time. I had a 78 and then I had a 79. Yeah, she's a little tramp, hanging out at the hotels, hanging out with men with Trans Ams and tattoos and getting hickeys and coming on to pool men.
Not only that, but my wife told me that she died at 23, less than a year after the movie. So she is a tramp because she's not 16, she's 23, which I found hard to believe. Or 22 when the movie was filmed.
Yeah.
So
she was strangled by her boyfriend in her driveway.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah, her ex-boyfriend.
Just terrible.
Yeah. And then, of course, Heather O'Rourke passed away too.
Of
cardiac arrest.
No, she got sepsis from a bowel blockage that was misdiagnosed. The little girl.
They thought she had Crohn's, but it was actually a blockage.
Yeah.
I think I have that. We should check after the podcast.
No, we won't.
This ass is clean.
Oh,
he's been waiting for like an hour to throw that one out, I'm sure of it. Just had to get the right setup.
All right.
Celine just looks exhausted.
Tony's running out of batteries, so am I.
I think we've done it. I think we did Poltergeist. Anybody else have anything else to say? Tony, Mikki?
No, let's recast it.
No.
Okay, let's do it. Let's recast it. So I've got a very obvious one. I'm going to recast Carol Ann with Drew Barrymore because I'm lazy and it was very easy.
Wow, that's so lazy.
Thank you.
Might as well why don't you just recast the kid with Elliot?
Okay, I'll recast the kid with Elliot. Mickey's like, fuck, that was mine.
No.
Mickey's like, that was my pick.
Mikki, what do you got on your recasting couch?
Yeah. Okay, I have 2. One, if we recast Carol Ann with Abigail Breslin when she was in Signs.
Okay.
I don't know who that is.
Oh my God, she was the cutest kid, the cutest little girl I have ever seen in my life.
Got amoebas
when she was in
Signs. It's got amoebas in it. It's contaminated.
Yeah. Did you ever see Signs, Des?
Oh,
God.
You gotta watch that.
That's Joaquin Phoenix, right?
Yes.
What movie is it?
Signs with Mel Gibson.
It's about aliens.
No,
it's really good.
I've seen it. I'll
You'd
check it out.
And then the other one I would do would be I would recast The Parapsychologist with Cate Blanchett.
Ooh, I like that.
That works. I mean, she never won an Oscar for a 5-minute scene, but Tony, what do you got?
I went off the board a little bit. I'm gonna take a very strong female lead in Jo Beth Williams, and I'm gonna recast her with. I was thinking either Angelina Jolie or help me, South African actress whose name, now that I'm trying to think of it, totally blew my mind. Oh, Charlize Theron. Thank you. Yes, Charlize Theron. And then just for fun, I'm gonna recast Craig T. Nelson with Christopher Walken. Just because, I can't really do a great Christopher Walken impression, but you move the headstones, but not the bodies. I don't understand it.
I like that. I mean, I like the impression.
Thank you. It was bad, but you're kind to say that.
I also think that we have to replace the paranormal guy with Billy D. Williams.
Yeah, that's also lazy though, Des. You're on a lazy theme here.
Oh, big time. And then we have to replace the other paranormal guy with Martin Short. So there we go.
Oh my God.
All right, let's do it.
All right, Dylan, what do you got?
Okay, so I'm going to recast Bucky, the little brother.
Bucky.
Oh, shit. Bucky. Oh, shit.
And I'm going to recast him, and this is a deep dive, so stay with me.
Elliot?
Badger Meyer from Better Off Dead. It was an actor named Scooter Stevens. He's like the How to Pick Up Trashy Women little brother. Do you remember him?
Yes.
Yes, him.
Yeah, I like it.
I like it. Just I would rather, instead of being this kind of like kid, if he was like more of like.
Is that the sound he makes?
It's like a bunch of fucking hyenas. Okay. Like a pack of fucking
Totally should have taken a fucking screenshot right then.
pack of tards. God.
Ooh, good
Okay.
stuff.
Okay.
Jesus.
All right. Let's do some final thoughts and a rewatch score.
All right.
My final thought. I love this movie. It's a perfect horror movie for people that hate horror movies. It's almost perfect, but the ending, I just can never forgive them staying one more night in the house and putting those kids in that bedroom. No fucking way. So I'm going to give this a 4.27 rewatch
Okay.
score. I love this movie.
Mm.
Mikki, what do you got?
I agree with you. I don't know why they stayed an extra night, obviously for the plot, but I mean, it it's totally unrealistic. But again, it was. I'm so caught up in the nostalgia. That's the thing with me. But like, I just watching this movie last night just brought me back to being 12 or 13, and just I love this movie. I love the way they portrayed this family, and like I said, you care about this family so quickly. I think I would probably give this a 4.
A 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Straight 4? Okay.
You were
Straight
talking me
4.
up a little bit. I was thinking, I'm like, maybe it should be a little higher. I love this family too. Tony, what do you got?
I really enjoyed it. Seen it a bunch of times, and it's still entertaining and classic. It passes the test of time, even though it's dated. I think it's a great film. It falls right in Spielberg's wheelhouse, and he just tells the story really well. There is some weird shit, but you know what? It's a movie. You got to suspend rational thought sometimes in movies, and it does that really well. I'm gonna go with the 4.25. And by the
Nice.
way, if we're being lazy and we're recasting, we're gonna recast Linda Hunt from Year from Living Dangerously with our friend Tangina. Because how many under 5 foot actresses can you find?
Not
True
many.
enough.
Not enough.
Not enough. That's
Oh,
right. It's right. Randy
Um,
Newman said it's short people, baby.
Short people got no feelings.
That's it.
Delin, go ahead.
It's a 5.
It's a 5?
It's a 5. Think about this. How often does a movie just become a fabric of our pop culture? You say they're here, everyone knows what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Immediately. You say this house is clean, everyone knows what you're talking about. It is a horror movie without being terribly scary. It's a good place to get into horror movies without having your pants scared off of you.
Yeah.
It's a 5. For me, it's a 5 because it's just really well done and it's a great story. And even though there are some stupid things in it, like them staying one more night, it's a 5.
It's a 5. For me, it's a 5 with a -3/4 with that tagged on ending. Like that, like it's a 5. There is a 5 there. I'm gonna agree with you. There's a perfect movie there. There is. But he got
I'm going to forgive
greedy.
that little bit. I'm going to forgive that and give it a 5.
He got a
And
little
I haven't
greedy at
given
the
a
end.
movie a 5 in a while. So
Yeah, I've given out 3 in a row.
There you go.
With
Yeah, I
fucking
know you have.
Deadpool, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and Daddy's Home. No, I don't know.
Yeah, something
All right,
like
go
that.
ahead. Something like, who cares?
Okay, so when I add it all up and I do the math out, it comes out to a 4.38, which
Okay.
means it is
Better be better than Black Christmas.
better than Black Christmas. It is at number 15, right under Constantine and right above Fletch.
All right, that's good company.
Yeah. Okay.
I like
I'm
it.
good
What do
with
you
that.
think? You agree with that? I mean, that's where it
I'm
falls
happy
with
with
those
that.
numbers.
Yeah, I like it. I like it with the Constantine thing. I mean, Constantine was so good. This might be
Constantine's
better,
amazing.
but Constantine is so good.
Well, this Constantine is better,
Yeah.
according to
Okay.
us.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Okay.
I mean,
As
you're the one
you would
taking points
say,
off. You shouldn't have taken points off it.
as you would say, it's different. It's a different
different.
movie. They're all different. Okay.
is.
So,
Bitch.
we will be back next week where we will be reviewing Halloween 3 Season of the Witch with the original flavored Tony 2.1.
I'm flavored?
No.
No.
Yeah, there's two flavors of Tony.
Flavored.
We've got original and new Tony.
I'd like to be bacon
It's
flavored,
original
please.
recipe.
Yeah,
And Tony 2.0.
bacon flavored. Thank you.
You're doing
Bacon
Halloween
flavor?
3?
Yes,
Yeah,
Season of the Witch.
We already did Halloween 1.
Must be
We
the
did Halloween
season
one.
of the witch.
The Witch, another great
There
song.
you go.
So yes, I would like to also. Did you guys watch the movie in the same room?
Yes, we did.
Okay, that's strange. Delyn and I
Well,
did
for
not
you.
watch the season in the strange room. In the strange room, we watched it in two
Watched it in our
separate
normal
rooms.
room.
Yes, which kept it from being strange. So I want to thank you guys for joining us. A lot of fun. I absolutely love doing this this double date, dysfunctional date night. It was awesome. And that's it. So I want to thank the listeners for stopping by. If you're listening to this on Apple, please give us a 5-star review. If you know people who like movies, please share it with your friends. It helps the podcast grow. Go over to Breaking Vinyl, our sister podcast, and listen to this week's podcast. We're going to be doing Tesla. And last week we did I don't remember.
It was so last week.
But it was funny.
Yes, it was Kiss, Rock and
It was
Roll
Kiss.
Over.
That's right. It was
Nice.
Kiss, Rock and Roll Over.
know that,
that's
and
a
you
classic.
I don't know, because I'm doing 2 podcasts a week and my brain is starting to turn to mush. So until next week, I only have one question for you. Hey, did you ever see that movie? See you next time.
Bye.